What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is Agree to Disagree. Talking little Flyers, talking little Philly spring training, Sixers, second half preview, all on tap. Let's go.
Uncle Sweeps, Nick Delgazzo, the legendary Brian Wilson, and the fucking man himself, Tom Arnone. These three guys from Jersey bringing you real talk with no agenda. You don't like them? Tough shit. It's their show, and they're going to say whatever the hell they goddamn want.
Welcome in, everybody. This is Agree to Disagree, only on A2D Radio. Every Sunday, we are brought to you by our doc, Make 'em Yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, location in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them right on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. As always, Brian Wilson, Nick Delgazzo, Greg Milakovic. I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, welcome in, baby. We'll talk a little Flyers at the end of the show. We'll touch on them. Stadium series last night. They can't win outside, so we might just want to opt out of ever playing outside. Like, hey, Flyers, you want to play? We'll give you money. No. We're good. We'll play inside. We'll play where it's we're not where it's supposed to be played, but we'll play inside. Okay? And then we'll talk about a little Philly spring training. That begins. Obviously, pitchers and catchers reported the other day. Now you're getting some players getting themselves in camp, which is always a great sign. Always a great sign. It's a sign of the end of winter, and it's a sign of baseball season where you have it every night, which is always glorious. So we'll get into a little Phillies talk throughout the show as well. But our main topic at hand ties into our Philadelphia 76ers. A little second half preview, and we're going to talk about how they can get it done, and are we optimistic on the big fella? And that's our main topic at hand. And it's brought to you by Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Home of the best stuffed bread, tomato pie sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs. You mentioned HUD Radio, 10% off your order. Poll for tonight, baby. You were confident that Joel Embiid will return this season. Doesn't mean regular season, just before the season's over. Agree? Disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. And everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Join the conversation tonight. We're happy to see everybody. And chime in on the poll. Let us know how you're feeling. Are you confident that Joel Embiid will return this season? Do you agree or disagree? I agree. I mean, I think all things were trending to the fact that he was gonna play this year, right? Not like by the end of the season, but by playoff time, or maybe even with a few games left in the year. I mean, you're talking about a 4 to 6 week injury, right? So all that was taken care of. You know, it was taken care of 2 weeks ago, right? So you're talking about on that timeline, 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks to get back. Well, that takes you to the end of March anyway. Playoffs don't start to the middle of April. So if this team can sustain and tread water right where they're at and just tread enough, they're going to be in a good spot. They'll be in that striking distance, that 6-hole maybe. Anything that doesn't involve a playing game, right? You want to avoid the playing game. That's a little harder, especially when you're getting him back. You want to get him back, you get a little timing underneath of him, and not have to worry about a playing game where it's a do or die almost, right? If you're advancing or not. So I'm looking at it that you hope to get him back by maybe the beginning of April, which I think is a fair timeline. When you look at it, because I believe his surgery was 2 weeks ago, right? About 2 weeks ago. So I'm on that timeline. So you're saying long term, or that 4 to 6. I'm giving him 5, right? And I'm giving him that extra week, which brings you back to the beginning of April. So you're talking about I gave him 7 weeks to get back with still games left, meat on the bone schedule wise, right? Meat on the bone, baby, schedule wise. So that's all you can ask for. Can he have a 4 or 5 game run of a regular season to just get his legs back under him? Because he's going to give you a point a minute regardless, right? You just hope the fatigue is always hurt him in the past, where he's tired and makes lazy plays and lazy decisions, right? Because his mind's not there. His body's exhausted, mind exhausted, and that's where his turnovers have come in playoff times before, when these things have happened and he lost his legs. So biggest concern is basketball legs, not the bike, not anything else, and a guy where you hurt your leg so you can't even use it. So, it's going to take a minute, but I think a good 2 weeks is enough time to get back in basketball shape, enough to give me 30 minutes in the playoffs, which will separate us winning or losing a first round. If he can play 30 great minutes, we're winning. We're winning a first round series, in my opinion. 30 great minutes with this basketball team, the way we're assembled, I think we win a first round series. But I agree. He'll be back. In what shape we'll get into at a different point of time. But I do agree that Joel Embiid will return this season. I can't see him not. What do you say, boys? What do you say, fam? Chime in. Yeah. Greg, Eddie, David, Greg Miller. What up, family? Let us know the poll. Greg agrees with the poll. So what do you guys say?
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, barring a major setback, it seems like, all roads point to at least the playoffs. But, what you said, I was going to echo the same thing you said. It's not a thumb injury, not an upper body injury. The problem is when you're dealing with the lower half. I don't even know if you can ride the bike or do anything. You might be able to get in the pool a little bit. You know what I mean? Like they got all kinds of modern medicine, and I'm sure they're doing some things that are stretching them out. You know what I mean? So, but as far as getting the cardiovascular going, you know what I mean? Like, forget about basketball shape. That's obviously number one. I agree with you. But I'm talking about any shape. I mean, like, that's a large human. You know what I mean? So he needs to get in any kind of shape, not just basketball shape. So hopefully, I mean, I'm assuming they got got a plan going. So I think that would be the key to get a couple games in at the end of the regular season. Just for that, not even for standings. If it came down the standings, that'd be great. But, if nothing else, just to get him up and down the court, get 20, 25 minutes in, all right, to get some air in those lungs,
Yep, I agree. Get a little air in it. Get a little air in the tire. Get a little air in your big tire.
Yep.
All right, well, stay down there. What do you say?
I mean, I think we're all going to probably agree to this.
You don't know Greg.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know Greg, but
nobody does.
I feel like it would have to be like a 10-week injury for him not to return, right? So, I mean, I'm thinking, I think I definitely agree. I think he's going to be back before, I think mid-March. And I prefer him back mid-March just so we can get more, like you guys are talking about, more ready to play in the playoffs. So we don't have the lapses maybe that we've had in the past in the playoffs where he's been a little banged up and lackadaisical, we'll say, late game. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of optimistic about the Sixers right now. Eastern Conference Finals, ECF.
Okay, because we didn't get into this. After Greg goes, I want to circle back with you two, because we haven't talked about it. So me and Greg have, but we haven't talked about how you feel about the sort of revampedness that has happened with the Sixers, and how do you feel about it? So we're gonna hold the phone. We're coming right back. Greg, agree or disagree to the poll? We'll circle right back to this.
Call waiting. Hang on, Wilson.
Hang on.
It's a three-way.
Love the three-way calls. Love a merch. Love took the red eye home. Right? Took the red eye home. Next thing.
Yeah, I'm here for the GB. GB.
I'll come out of the bathroom like a goddamn clown show.
I was waiting for you, Wills. I was waiting. Put on tape.
Got the mustache already.
I'm going to disagree to the poll.
Yeah, we know.
You guys weren't wrong in where this was going to go.
That's all right. Craig's always wrong, so that's good.
Pretty much.
Great shape here.
Joe feels good about that.
I mean, obviously, we know Joel's always injured, right? So I also don't believe that he's going to come back 100%, even when he does come back, right? But I also even outside of that, the
doctors and the specialized physical therapy, per se, the doc, he's not a part of this, but those people and trainers and everybody involved in this, they're going to get it wrong.
No, I'm not saying they're going to get it wrong. I'm just saying he's trying to push to come back early, and he's not going to be ready, and in turn, hurt himself again.
A re-injure? Are we talking a re-injure?
Well, re-injure game.
Well, we said a 10-week timeline. We said there was a 10-week timeline, and he would be back in 6, which is usually the right timeline. We said 10 weeks would be absurd. So if he's back in 6, do you think that's rushed? Or 7? I gave you the 7.
But here, I also going to take in the fact that we might potentially be out of the race.
We'll get,
because our next 10 games, our next 2 weeks, this team is going to struggle to come away out of this 10-game stretch with a winning record. This team's going to struggle, right? Out of the next 10 games out of the break, which is a 2-week period, is a gauntlet. We're going to be lucky to win 3-4 games.
That depends who's healthy, first off, right?
But that's what this team is right now. That's where we are. That's
well,
where
we don't
we are
know
with this team.
Well, we don't know if Batum's back or Melton's back or
You're
Roko's
right.
back.
I'm going off of what we are now. And what we are now is not a very good basketball team without Joel.
Okay, so you answered where you feel about that.
Yeah.
That you don't think this team's good enough. I do. I think if they're healthy, they can tread the water. Right now, I told you on Wednesday, Greg, when you're talking about a top 6 seed, I said not to start the season they wouldn't be, but to tread enough water from where they were through the end of the year. I think they're good enough to do it.
But we're only 2.5 up right now.
I know, but I still think they're good enough to do it. With the addition of Buddy Hield, changes the entire basketball team on what they're able to do spacing and what it's done for Tyrese Maxey alone. Right? It's one when you lose Joel Embiid, that's so tough on a guy like Maxey. But you go at a guy who can stretch the floor like a Buddy Hield, now you're different. Remember, they haven't even really played with Tobias yet either. He's been sick, right? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, then Melton and Batum. Batum's always on winning basketball teams. So if Nikolai Batum's healthy, right, this team's going to win games.
I mean, the Clippers got to the playoffs, but the Clippers never won.
You know what I mean by winning, Greg, is treading water. We're talking about when Joel's back, it's a different team. We're talking about treading water to get to the dance. Are they good enough to do it? Okay, and I think they will. So I feel good.
He's a good contributor.
I feel
but I just don't think it's enough.
I think this basketball team is enough without him to win some games you think they may not win, to tread enough water to maintain to be around that 6 seed where you need him to be. When the big dog's back, and then we'll eat. Now you get them back with 2 weeks, 3 weeks to play. Right now they're even better. So we're talking about that conversation can be different. But it's a team that hasn't played with Tobias a lot. It's a team that hasn't played with Melton, Batum a lot. They're good players when you add Buddy Hield to them and Tyrese Maxey. So that's decent enough in the NBA to steal games and win some basketball games. You think they won't. You automatically are going to chalk up the losses, and that's fine.
Feel that way. Yes.
Feel that way. That's fine.
I disagree with Craig, actually. I'm surprised. I'll say I'm.
Well, you were 12-3 last week.
At how
you had a 15-2 last week.
I know.
You did.
You were excited.
I'm surprised at how well of a playmaker Buddy Hield is. I obviously know that he's been a good shooter since college, but he's made more plays off the dribble than I expected. I like Buddy Hield. I think it's a really good move. I like campaign. I think they're just going to get more accustomed to playing on this team, and we're going to get better and better. And obviously, we need Tobias and Tyrese being like hurt/sick for the last 2 weeks hasn't helped anybody. So hopefully, coming out of the All-Star break, they'll be good to roll.
All right.
But I like where we are, kind of. I mean, obviously, it's not ideal not having Joe, but I kind of like the direction we're heading. And obviously, the Bucks are falling off a cliff because Glenn stinks. So I'm fine with that too.
and not your Glenn. We're not talking about Glenn Wilson, by the way.
I mean, he's skeptical, but he's not as bad as Doc, as Glenn Rivers.
Well, so you think they can maintain that 6 seed then, Wills?
I do. I think maybe the 5th, maybe the 5.
Okay, Sweeps. Do you think it's enough just to maintain it?
I mean, it's a tough stretch. I mean, like I said, you mentioned Batum. Like, I feel like he never plays either. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where the hell he's at. Right. And we talked about, obviously Toby was dealing with something. I don't know if we don't know what the hell he had. You know what I mean? That guy had some, I feel like he was out for 2 weeks. So we, albeit I do like the Buddy Hield trade and I like campaign, and I like what they did, in the interim. Will it be enough? I hope it is, as fans. But I just, that is a tough stretch. That is a tough stretch. But nobody's crowning the Knicks and nobody's crowning the Bucks and anything like that. But it's a tough stretch. It is a tough stretch, and you just hope to be 500 in that. I'll take 5-5. I don't need a winning record in the next 10. I'm saying, just to you survive the next 10 at 5-5. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. The bigger picture is how do you like. If the big fellow was healthy, and comes back really healthy, Where do you like? How do you like the Sixers then? Like not being a homer guy or a guy that's being fans that we are. What I mean, how do you like the Sixers as currently constructed if he's healthy?
I'll lead the pack there. Just the addition, and I'm not going to go around crowning, right? I'm not trying to crown or overhype an addition. But what this basketball team has missed greatly, dearly with Joel Embiid is the spacing. It's the biggest part of what the in and out game you want to be able to have with him. And it doesn't allow the doubles to come as easy. People don't want to do it as confidently when you have a guy like Buddy who can flat out shoot it and get hot from out there. And Maxey's game's different. Maxey wants to slash, he wants to go, right? It doesn't mean he doesn't want to shoot the three. I'm not saying that. But then Tobias is a slasher, right? He's a guy that's more shoot the three in rhythm than dribble shoot the three, right? So a guy like Buddy helps that too, because guys run at him. Tobias open three, bang, right? Not crowning Tobias either. But it sort of fits what these guys need around them to help all three of those guys. Okay? Just that spacing alone helps all three of those guys. And I think that those four guys, that's a dangerous four playoff time, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to overhype the 76ers. That is a dangerous four that I'm not trying to see. Because you're talking about two all-stars if Joel was healthy. Tobias is a really good third guy. Now he's a fourth. And Buddy, I'm not trying to override Buddy, but we thought we were getting Buddy for 50 years. And we finally got him, and he can still play, thank goodness. Thank goodness Buddy Hield can still play. Because I think what he can do with Joel, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how teams want to attack that. And you still got to worry about Maxey, and you still got to worry about Tobias. And we're not factoring in other guys that we haven't even talked about that can still play.
You're hoping he's not JJ Redick 2.0. You know what I mean?
Nope.
We had that with Redick, we thought. You know what I mean?
Just need enough defense.
Floor space. Oh yeah, I'm not even counting that. He doesn't even know how to spell that. Like he can go on his he can go on TV. Actually, he could. He can spell it. I'm sorry. He Duke guy. But he can yell all he wants and about the modern day player. He couldn't play like a defense. So I'm not
what do you guys say out there? Real quick, what are everybody out there in the chat? What do you think?
That's what I think you answered it pretty good. If you take away your Sixer hat for a second, which I know it's hard to pull the heartstrings. So if they were healthy, completely healthy, you're not scared of anybody. Where do you rank them in the East in a perfect world? I know we're not healthy, but
okay. So rank wise, I would probably, I want to give credit to Boston right now, obviously for obvious reasons. So I'm not going to go one. And I look at the Bucks as a problem. I don't really. There's other teams that are good, but I'll probably put us in the 2 to 3 range. Because I think we're that good.
Yeah, I'm at 2.
Yeah, I might even say 2. Yeah, I didn't want to get that greedy, but I think with Joel, you're 2 until you beat Boston. You're 2 until you beat Boston.
Yeah, I can't put us over Boston.
No, that's disrespectful. That's respect. Yeah. Hey, who's your daddy?
Yeah,
Now it's reversed. Now it's reversed because it was the Yankees were their daddy. Then they took it over. Now they're our daddy. Yep. Maybe we can take the daddy back. Maybe we can you take the trash out. You know what I mean?
No, you're right,
you go take the damn trash out tonight.
You mow the lawn. Yeah.
You mow it. You're mowing. We'll go back to Mogate. Mogate on A2D Radio.
Unless you're in the top left of this situation here, you mow the lawn.
No, I agree with that. Especially how the season has progressed. You know what I mean? Like I said, take away the injuries. Before the season, for me, it's not even close. The Bucks are better. Their Bucks are better. That's the way
on paper. Yeah,
that's what I said. Yeah, before the season, the Bucks are way better. They got 2 superstars. We got obviously the best player in the league, and we got a young guy that's not a superstar yet. He's a star. You know what I mean? That's tough to put that first thing before him. Yes, he's absolutely ascending, and I'm not taking anything away from him. He's awesome. All right, but when you add those other 5 letters, that's when that's a game changer. You know what I mean?
Big time.
All right to be a star. You know what I mean? So they got 2 superstars, and people can say whatever they want about Lillard. Lillard's a superstar. You know what I mean? Like, he might not play any defense. He's a superstar. So like I said,
offensive superstar.
Yeah, exactly. Preseason on paper, had them better, but the addition of Doc and that dysfunction that they got going, come on to town, come on in, man. Doors open. You know what I mean? So, I would agree. You know what I mean? If we can get healthy, I like I said too, and I don't think that's a biased thing, but a biased statement.
No, I'm in agreement. I definitely, like I said too, and I've seen Spells. Thanks for the shout out, Spells, and obviously Martian had a great comment there. That Tobias been sick since we signed him. That's a great comment.
Yeah, I wanted to get to some real quick. I wanted to get to some of the people: Sean, Martian, Greg,
Absolutely, Sean. Especially
Joe.
He was the best player in the league for sure.
Chrome, everybody chiming in: Greg Miller, Daly, Sean Spells, Roska, John Malmos was chiming in early. He's we know him from the Facebook side of things. He's out. He's always out in the Sixers. He never believes, and rightfully so. What have they won ever? So John's in that, like, you know, he's going to eat fast food corner, and he won't be right, and he'll be tired. So that, and John, you know, you've seen tired over the years.
Maybe.
Yeah. So it's hard for me to yell at you this time of year. You know, years past I could yell at you about the Sixers. Now I can't. Now I can't. I gotta shh.
That's what I mean. Like, you know, it's the same story. I mean, so we, you know, we're there, we're in the boat with you, with everybody. You know what I mean? So, you know, I mean, we might be a tad more optimistic than some people, right? But we're there too. Right? We've read the same book. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we know the book. We know how the book ends. You know, with either injury or the second round. We're not stupid. We know how the book ends. You know what I mean? So, you know, when I say, and I know the guy, you know, wanted to, you know, comment and say when he actually plays. Yeah, we understand. Yeah. Well aware of that. Yes, he is the best player in the league when he plays. That's how it works.
And through the whole conversation, I thought about Kelly Oubre, right? So you forgot about Kelly Oubre too, with that four as that fifth guy. I mean, or coming off the bench, whatever. But that's dangerous, boys. That's a dangerous. That's a lineup that can score on you. And in playoffs, where it gets tougher to score, you know, that's a lineup that can get hot on you one night. And drop a 120 in a playoff game and be like, what? Looks like nobody played defense tonight, but they were just hot. And you need that. You need that. And I said it the other night. Defensively, I'm not even worried because once Joel's back, that defense goes from middle of the pack to top five. So I don't even worry about that. That's the difference he makes. But so offensively is where
from Lowry. That's a question.
Well, don't ask Greg. We did this Wednesday.
Veteran leader, at least, hopefully.
That's all you're looking for is Pat Bev, but just not as good. Because Pat Bev's not even that good, but he's solid. I like Pat Bev, but I don't like his comments. I think he's now a loser because all he does is talk everywhere. Every time he gets traded, he's got something to say about where he was. Like he defined basketball, and what he says goes. And you say that, but you had to grab a clipboard night one. So how great's Milwaukee? Milwaukee, all they do is want to win. They don't want to worry about stats. Nobody here cares about stats, he said, like the other place. Okay. All right, then why'd you have to grab a clipboard night one if all those dudes are bought in, babe? Right? If every one of those cats, all they care about is winning, but you got to run and grab a clipboard? Come on. You know, let's not start doing this, Pat. Like you were the greatest player ever to play the game. I do, but now I'm anti-Pat Bev. He does it everywhere. You have a track record of talking, right? Your talk is better than your play.
You've been on 30,
yeah, your talk's better than your play, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you don't know basketball. It doesn't mean you're not smart, because I like you. But now you talk too much. So enough. Everything's for the pot. I'll expose your pot and you. Because I go back and say everything you said when you got here. Everybody wants to win here. You said the same thing. Everybody, did he not? Everybody here wants to win. There's no egos here. Right? He said it. So now you take that back.
Well, and listen, things can change. But you're more of a man, and it's more of a respectable statement, if it's true, if you call somebody out. You're really only talking about the big fella. Who else is stuffing the stat sheets? I mean, listen, I know Maxey does. I get it, right? But he's a young kid. We know it. It ain't talking about him.
No, you don't even want to do it.
Toby don't even know what day it is. I mean, we love Toby. He just, I'm sick. He's sick. You don't even know what day it is. So you're not talking about him. Are you talking about the big fella? Then have the cojones to say it. Then have the cojones to say it. One guy got hit by a car, allegedly. So if you'd rather be talking about the big fella. So if you got the honies, say it then. Say, hey, big fella doesn't want to win. He just wants stats. Then we'd all be like, whoa, that's a little shocking. Whoa, things changed here. Holy cow.
Yeah. It's not even like he's
Then you put a name on it. Don't put a blanket statement. That's cowardly.
You know what's funny is I love when guys would say that too. A guy's not even a stat stuffer because his efficiency proves it. Right? You're not a stat stuffer when you're that efficient. You're not trying. Like that, yeah, that's the funny thing about what you're saying. Yeah, if I'm Donovan Mitchell and I'm 10 for 28, then that's I'm just using it as an example. A 10 for 28er, right? And I'm getting and I like Donovan. I'm not saying I'm anti-Donovan Mitchell, but I don't hate him as much as you, but I'm not in love with him. But he's a stat stuffer, right? So like that to me is the guy that when I leave playing with him, I would say, is his points really valid or his points meaningful? But when you look at Joe and the efficiency and the numbers and the things that he does, and you want to say that's that stuff, okay. Like, you can't question a guy wanting to win when he's hurt all the time. Like, I can't even go to that question. I can't question his want to win when he's never on the court in big moments. So can you say he doesn't want to win? Like, what if you won to know what he wants? You got to win. You got to be around winning at least to know what winners want. You never were around it, Pat. How do you know? Now ask Kyle Lowry after he's here and that time's over if Joel wants to win. Then I'll respect that guy's opinion to Wilson's question about Kyle Lowry. Right? Like, then I'll respect his opinion. At least he was around winning. At least he got they lost a lot there too with him and DeRozan. But at least he got over the hump. Not all him, but he was a big part of that team.
Yeah.
So, I don't respect guys who want to talk that never always been around winning.
Yeah, or like you said, or multiple, once other guys are removed from the equation and then it becomes a trend, right? Then it's, walks like a duck, talks like a duck. It's probably a duck, you know what I mean? Because Jimmy said the same thing. Jimmy wasn't talking about him. Jimmy was talking about Meow Boy. And he was right. He was talking about guys drinking milk out of a little bowl over there. That's who he was talking about. And he was 100% right. He wouldn't talk about the big fella. So like I said, if there's, 4 different teammates and he was the last common denominator, then I'd be like, whoa, there's some smoke here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tobias
26-34. Just remember that when Tom tried to drink milk out of a saucer right there, we might have to clip that.
Yeah. He said, Marcy said, I don't think Tobias even called him because it was reported that Tobias called him. Right, that's what he said. He said Tobias called me, and I would venture to say that no, he didn't. Nobody called you. Right, but whatever. Forget Pat Bev. We're a better basketball team today than we were the other day, just because sometimes you got to do things to be able to acquire a guy like Buddy Hield, and Cameron Payne is a very good backup point guard.
Solid player.
Yeah, and he's won. He's won a Western Conference final. A Western Conference championship or a West final, because Pat Bevan hasn't ever done that. So when he was with Phoenix, he was on that team that went to the NBA Finals. So at least he's been there. Pat, you been there? I don't even respect Cameron Payne's opinion, but I respect his more than Pat Bev at this point. What team have you helped get over the top? You play with some talent.
Nobody.
Yeah. You freaking.
I do like Pat. I like his.
But
Kyle Lowry's kind of the same guy.
Do you like the addition? Do you guys like that addition at this point of his career?
If you're telling me,
you got a lot of guards too. Remember, you got a lot of guards.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt us.
What's going on with Melton? It makes me think that
he'll be back.
Not going to be back.
He'll be back. He'll be back, but it was his back. He's getting closer, they said. So I assume.
Just because I feel like now Payne and Lowry, we got a lot of guards.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Maxey. So you start naming off the guards, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, he's not loading up the red wagon and carrying the luggage for us every night. You know what I mean? Like that's not what Kyle Lowry's about anymore. You know what I mean? So for what it was worth and for the shot we took, you know what I mean? Yeah, it can't hurt us. So I mean, you bring in a veteran. There's only an upside. There's only an upside there. Yeah, he went to Villanova here, local guy, has won before. It can only help us. He's never been a locker room guy, never been accused of being a bad teammate. It's only an upside for us. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if he's got no lift left. Doesn't matter if he's got nothing left. Big deal. It's doesn't hurt us.
No, it's low risk, high reward.
Yeah,
because if the reward comes
6 to 8 minutes a game, is that what we're asking?
Yeah, I said to Greg the other night, you hit an open 3 in a playoff game, right? That's a win. That's a win. If you help young players grow and to being pros and teach and bring the player coach aspect to our team, that's a win, because that's sort of what we lost with Pat. That's what you can say. Okay, with Pat, that's what we liked. Well, we gained that back with Kyle. He's not a guy who's anti-vocal. He's not a guy who's not going to tell other players how he feels. So you're getting that back, right? So, I mean, when you look at this basketball team, this team is better. They're better. They're deeper. They're absolutely deeper, right? If you like that, hit the like, subscribe, follow, always join the conversation, and turn your alerts on, baby, and stay with us always. Shows for you every night here on HUD Radio. You won't be disappointed. So there's that. And so Joe thinks the Sixers are going to be in a play-in round without Joel. Wow, Joe, you're that disbelief. So you have that much disbelief in when that injury happened and his ability to get back, and you're saying they're not going to have him in a playing game. Now, if you want to say that you believe they're a playing team without him right now, okay, I don't agree with that necessarily.
No, I would say he forgot a comma. I think he's probably saying they're going to be in the play-in round without Joe. Like they're going to fall all the way down to 7 or 8.
Okay,
Yes,
I think that's what you're saying, Joe.
I think that's what you're saying, Joe. That's the way I translate that, brother.
Yeah,
I think that's what he's saying. Yeah. Well, so what is this? It's the 7 and 8 play each other, right? Winner gets 7, and then the 8 plays the winner of 9 and 10. Is that how they do it? Something like that. I mean, I think we're going to remain top
7
6.
plays 10, 8 plays 9.
I don't think so, Greg.
And then the 2 winners play. There's 4 teams in the playing game, so whatever the seeding is.
It's 9 plays 10, 7 plays 8. The winner of 7 and 8 gets 7. The winner of 9 and 10 plays 8 for the 8th seed. Or the loser of 7 and 8, I should say.
And we're in the 5 spot right now.
The loser of 9-10 is gone.
Yeah. And remember something. We're still in the
7 and 8 plays the winner of 9-10 for the 8th seed.
With all this
panic, 7 and 8 gets the 7 seed.
Yeah, and that's all cute. We can talk about all that. But with all that panic, we're still in the 5 spot, and we're 2.5 games up from the 6 spot.
Yeah,
so
I don't think we're dropping past 6, honestly.
Like I don't know where all the panic is yet. I mean, maybe this team drops off, but I think once they have a consistency of 3 things here, when they have Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, and Buddy Hield playing consistently, night in, night out, this team is going to win basketball games.
But that's the issue, though, Tom, is we don't have that right now. Like
the virus is gone, Greg. The virus is gone. It was a virus going around the locker room.
If I hit my golf irons consistently, I'd be in the 80s. But I don't.
That's not the conversation, babe. Here, okay. The conversation was
that's what we're talking about, right?
No, it's not. No, it's not. They were, Greg. They were there. Greg, they were sick. It wasn't like the guys were hurt. Those 2 of those 3 guys were sick. They're going to be back at the All-Star break. Tyrese Maxey just played tonight before Doc pulled him after 8 straight points or whatever he had. Then Doc pulled him like Doc likes to do to him. Okay, but at the end of the day, he's healthy. All right, Tobias Harris will play, and Buddy Hield has played the whole time. So what's your issue there?
We'll keep talking about ifs with this team. We got to go off of what we have and what they've shown the last week and the last 2 weeks, which is not very good.
They were sick, Greg. Guys didn't play.
Okay.
This is why we do what we do.
Maybe
it's all sick. It's all feel. It's all opinions. It's all hypotheticals. It's what we do. It's what we do. Like if we want to, the next 10 are huge. So Greg could either be right. Or
we know
you could be right. You could be right. No, I don't mean that funny wise. I'm saying this is the test right here. A 2 and 8, and Tom's tune changes, and that's not a shot at him. It's anybody's shot. You come with a 2 and 8 burger, we're in a lot of trouble.
Well, let's go over it again. Let's go over it again. What do we got? Greg, pull the schedule up, Greg. Let's go. Because
we're 6 on Thursday.
Hold on. Joe, I love you, babe, but we're 3 and 7 in our last 10 after just making a trade, and those guys aren't even playing together yet because Tobias was out and Maxey missed games. So we can't really look at it yet. So coming out of the break, I think it would be different. I think when guys aren't sick anymore, it's going to be a better basketball team. That's all.
You need a little time to gel.
Yeah, I don't even need that much time. We had our time to get to know each other a little bit. Guys were sick in and out. I think once they play together, we're going to be better. If that's 5 and 5 in 10 games, that's enough to tread water. Like that's another.
I got 6 and 4.
But that's another 2 weeks, right? That's another 2 weeks essentially, right? 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's 2 more weeks of Joel. That's
more than 2, honestly.
Well, okay, but that's another 2 weeks of Joel. So that's that. Now we're 4 weeks. We're 4 weeks post surgery. 4 weeks past surgery. 2 weeks closer. Wow, let's go.
We're gonna find out. It's a 4 burger to start with. Knicks, Cavs, Bucks, Celtics. Right out of the
Greg, read them out. Where are they at? And then let's give it out, and we'll give our votes and see where we stand.
3 in a row at home.
3 in a row at home. You got the Knicks on Thursday.
All right, let's go. Win.
Back to back. You got Cavs on Friday.
That's a back to back.
Mm-hmm.
At home though.
Are the Cavs play Thursday?
I don't know.
Hold on. Wells, I got you.
I'm looking at the Sixers schedule. I don't.
All right, I got you, Wells. I got you.
I'm sorry.
The Whales ain't hitting though, so.
No, they haven't been. You're right. But last year after the All-Star break, they were good.
They do. They
right.
do. They do, baby.
See, we win.
They play in Orlando, or no, at home. They're at home versus Orlando, and then they fly out to us, and yeah, we win that game. So
win
2-0. Let's go. Where we want to be.
Host the Bucks on Sunday.
Doc Rivers revenge game for us. Win 3-0. 3-0. Look at us. I can't find the loss.
Look at
Boston.
Loss. There, found one.
Sure?
Found one. Found it.
I was like, where's Waldo?
All right.
Got it.
We didn't even let sweeps in, right? Will's like, we didn't even let. We were just like, oh yeah, majority. We already know where Greg stands, so we're just like majority.
That's why
home
Craig's
versus
reading them all.
Charlotte.
Getting bullied here.
Home versus Charlotte. Sweeps. You agree? Home versus Charlotte win.
Yes.
Get you back in, Greg. Win or loss?
I'll take that for a win.
Oh, he's back.
Is that your first one?
Yes.
Out of the break?
All right. Yeah.
At Dallas.
Loss. I'll take a loss. I'll do loss there. So what's that? 4-2. 4-2. All right.
Home versus Memphis.
Win.
Well, Greg, where you at, bro?
Oh my God.
The Nets are.
I'm sorry. I missed it. Yeah.
The Nets are after Mavs.
Mavs at Brooklyn. I'm sorry.
Hold on. Let's circle back here.
So we were at Mavs.
4-2 after Mavs, and then we go to Brooklyn.
And you go at Brooklyn.
Win.
Yeah.
There's your fifth. There's your fifth win right there. There's to get the 5. There's to get to that 5.
Memphis is 6.
Home Memphis.
Home Memphis. Oh, 6. Now we're 6. Where we at? Where we at?
New Orleans.
Loss. This is say I got to throw one in. This is 7-3.
How much of you?
Double that up because we're then at New York, and that's the next 10 games 2 weeks.
And then another New Yorker
at New York. We go back to back with New York.
Is that 10 games though?
Yep.
Open and close.
So maybe we'll lose that one. 6-4.
Well, you go back to back at New York.
6.
Not back to back games. This the 10th and then the 12th, but they're both the next 3 games. So after New Orleans.
Oh my God, I want to say 7-3 so bad.
Knicks, Bucks, all on the road.
It feels so good. I want to say 7-3
in New York. That's strange, isn't it?
10th and the 12th. Yeah, one day off, so we can go
one day
a
off.
Broadway show. You want to do a Broadway show, you know what I mean? and then you play the next game. You know, your little show in.
I'm going 7-3. That's a tough stretch, but it's favorable in ways like we're home certain spots. Give me a 6-4, 7-3. I'm right in that area, which is good enough. 6-4 probably more realistic. But I'm open for a Maxey 40. You know what I mean? You're open for some of those types of things, like a couple explosion games in that stretch, where he really shines, right? Because All-Star game confidence type shit. That's what I'm looking for. Hugs with LeBron tonight. You know, I'm looking for that, like the mental side of his game taking another step. The confidence side of games that we talk about all the time as coaches, guys involved in sports and our love for sports, the mental part of it, when you got that much talent, now believe it. If you didn't fully believe yet, right? Then bro, you're here with all the best players in the league. Look around, right?
Sorry, Tommy.
No, that's it. That's what
the problem with the Cavs wanting revenge, Torres, is the Cavs stink. That's the problem.
The Cavs?
I'm not a Cavs guy. They're not good. Donovan Mitchell's a loser.
They are good though, but yeah, I hear
I was just gonna say, if they're not good, I mean, what are we? Holy crap! You're the best.
Loser.
You're the best. Yeah, you don't have to like it.
No, I'm anti Donovan Mitchell, but they're still good. They got a lot of good players.
Yeah, they do.
I like Garland, and I like Mobley. That's about it. Max Strus somehow hits everything against us he's ever shot, but
he's never missed a shot versus us. Ever. It's sort of amazing.
It is kind of amazing.
But I don't know, man. we're still good. That's the weird
I
part.
think we are good.
We're not like great.
People seem to think that we're not good. Talking about dropping the ninth, we're not dropping the ninth, guys. Come on, that ain't
9. This is what's happening.
We dropped to ninth.
We're this bad. I don't think we're this bad.
There's no way. We're at 4 very good players, even without Joe, and that's not counting. That's not counting solid players like Melton and Oubre and Campaign.
And Batum, if he ever plays.
And Batum, if he ever plays, I won't be calling in that category.
Rocco.
They're all guards. We have
Rocco, if he ever plays.
I would say, Greg, we have no shocking we didn't get another center.
Well, did you hear what happened with the other center? They thought they had a deal done with Chicago for Andre Drummond, and Chicago pulled out last second. So they sort of screwed us last second on it, where they had a deal done with Chicago, and Chicago pulled out. Sense.
I figured they would try to get something because Mo Bamba stinks out loud.
Well, they tried because if you heard all the reports on what Daryl Morey did at the deadline, is he called every team for what their asking price was for all their best players. So he called them. He called Phoenix for Booker and Durant. You know, he just said, "Hello, how you guys doing?" I'm sure you don't want to, but if you do, and then he called the Lakers for LeBron, and he called some other teams. So I'm sure he reached out more than just Andre Drummond, right? I'm sure he made other phone calls, but he had that deal done, so he probably didn't get a chance to get somebody after that fact, right? That's what it looked like because they pulled out last minute. Now you're past the deadline with your pants down. You know what I mean? So
he called for Wembanyama.
I'm very surprised at the big fella, right? This not par for the course for you, right? Tommy,
I know. I don't know why. I have a PT outlook right now.
Tommy was on the Titanic. He was fucking Leo. He was Leo, right? Rose, go ahead. All these fucking people go.
I'm surviving.
He was hanging on the top of the fucking iceberg. That's what Tommy does, and that's okay. Don't make him a bad guy. Big fella, very surprising you. The optimistic that you are really happy about this team. And I listen. I want to be. I want to be.
Great. I'm as shocked as you guys are.
Yeah,
I'm right with you.
Boys, I'm in the ice. I'm in the ice.
No beers. I mean, you are a new guy. No beers, no fasting. You look fantastic. People thought that was you the other night. That was a month ago. All right? I mean, great picture.
It was a month ago.
Yeah, he was. Everybody said enjoy the night. Enjoy the night, Brian.
I was like, I'm not gonna tell anybody it was a month ago.
Why ruin a good story?
Why do I do that? Why would I do that?
No, this is what I'll say about Will. So Will's to Sweeps, and you know this. You know this. He's a guy who's going to hang on to the raft.
Yeah,
in the water.
I'm not bribing to get on one of those.
It's hard for him.
Get that bourbon. We're going down.
Now, me and him will flip in a heartbeat in a second, right? Like if we don't like what we see next week,
1-9 in this stretch.
Yeah,
it's gonna be big.
Like next Sunday, I'll flip in a heartbeat. But
I just mean that you would. You're riding the door. You ride the door all the way to the fucking Atlantic. Wilson will pop it. Wilson's got a pocket knife, and he'll put a hole in that goddamn.
He'll put
a hole in the lifeboat. Right?
Very true. Very, 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 very true. Which is funny because
I'm just too old. I can't get over the same story. So I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna root. I'm gonna pray.
Well, that's all I'm doing, right? And just in a different way.
Same story. So they got to get over the hump. All right. They got to get me out of this hole.
For years and years and years, I've said the same thing and it hasn't happened. I'm going to try to talk it into existence.
Yep.
Right. I'm going to do the best I can on A2D radio to have the voice to be able to try to talk shit around this city into some positive existence. Right. And I just want the opportunity.
All we wanted was an opportunity.
One opportunity.
Again.
I agree. Honestly, a lot of it has to do with the Bucks getting Doc Rivers because everyone knows how much I hate him, and he stinks. I think the Bucks are done; they're an afterthought now, and I like the moves we made, and we don't have that fucking loser Harden anymore. I'm happy right now.
I mean, you know how much we love to talk shit. There's just so many, there's so many haters that are floating around that I just want nothing more to stand up and say. See you at the parade. All right. See you at the parade. And you know who you are. All right. Brad and Bobby A. Well, we know who you guys are. See ya. We just want to say, see you at the parade.
Yeah. It's been a long time. We've never Sweeps has seen it really. I was just born. He was around, but we haven't really got an opportunity to see really. We haven't got really an opportunity to see winning basketball. Hold on, Wes. I muted you for a second. Hold on, Wes. 1 sec. But I don't know why I'm getting kicked back. But you guys getting that again?
I don't hear anything.
All right, it's just me then. Cool. Just me. Hey, just on my end. How you doing, Tom? Right when you're trying to talk. Now I don't even know what I was saying, but what I do know is that we just want to believe that we can just get to an Eastern Conference final. Like we're weirdos about it right now, right? We're really weirdos about it because like most teams talk about cutting nets down, and we just want to see what it feels like to be the last two teams playing in the East. Goodness gracious, we're not even saying like, hey, love to be the last two teams playing, the biggest games of the year. We'd love to see that feeling again. Haven't seen that one in 2 decades. I don't even know what that feels like. Like, if there's a fan base around the National Basketball Association that deserves it, it should be us. I mean, it's a basketball city. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of people saying, oh, it's just Eagle. This is a basketball, too. When basketball's good, this can rival any other sport in this city. I believe that. I've witnessed it. I've watched it through AI years. It drove drive time radio for years and years and years when Eagles were good, too. So let's not act like it doesn't. So this is basketball city. We deserve that opportunity. We deserve the chance. And hopefully these moves and Tyrese Maxey taking the next step, addition of Buddy Hield, still keeping the bias when you get Buddy and getting Joel back. I think this is arguably the most dangerous team in the Eastern Conference that nobody's even going to think about. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think we're going to be thought about as much as you're going to talk about.
A little under the radar.
Yeah, and you're going to get Joel back, and it's going to be uh-oh. Because who are you covering night to night? That's not easy. There's one ball to go around, but unselfish teams, which Joel's done a great job passing the basketball this year to Pat Ben's comments. His assist numbers are up, but, he's a stat stuffer. I guess finding the open guy is selfish. You know what I mean? So that's new. I didn't know that in basketball. Finding the open guy and still dropping 30+ is selfish. So that's cool. That's good to know. That's news to me. It's news to me. Pat Bev, I want a piece of him. I can't wait that they come to town. I just want to go buy tickets.
Ago, he was saying how great the team chemistry was. Like,
couldn't say enough great things.
Come on, Pat.
Come on. So, I just want Joel to be back, man. The whole point of the start of this conversation was, can we just get a healthy Joel Embiid? Can we just see how that feels? Because we deserve it.
And I think we said this maybe 2 weeks ago, but maybe silver lining here is that he will be healthy for the playoffs because he's not going to get hurt in the next 5 weeks while he's rehabbing.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, little silver lining there. I'll take it because we need him back. Like we said, I think we said this 2 weeks ago too. But Mo Bamba somehow, shockingly, is even worse than that awful rap song Mo Bamba. It's amazing. He's even worse at basketball than that song is. It's incredible.
And Paul Reed's a backup.
Yeah, he's not good.
A little bit of Marty guy. Yeah.
Love a little Paul Reed in my life for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I like Paul's energy for 15 minutes, right? But I don't need him starting because then you see where he's.
Sorry, Martian.
Martian, I love you, babe. I'm delusional about it. I told you, I'm not going to run from it. I do think it's still a good team, though, and I don't like that gauntlet's tough, but I don't think it's like. You're playing.
I feel good because it's at home. The three,
yeah. The home games. You're not playing Jordan's Bulls, so I mean, you can steal some maybe. And I said the whole reason I thought they could steal some is maybe you get a couple of Maxey nights. Maybe you get like 2 nights of Maxey giving you 40 pieces, right? Maybe you get a Buddy Hield going for 30 night. That's how I'm trying to steal him. Maybe at the bias game where he actually scores over 30. Happened once. Then it happened this year. Maybe he can do it again. So that's some of the talking into existence where you're at. Can you get a Kelly Oubre hot from 3 one night where he's getting the basketball? And I like Nick Nurse. And if there's a guy that can get more out of his basketball team, it's been proven Nick Nurse can. So why can't he here now? Now all of a sudden he can't? Now, we see how much coaching matters to me who argued it here for years, right? I can't argue it anymore, right? I know how coaching matters. I see how bad Doc Rivers is. I see how bad things are, right? Like coaching matters in this league, right? And getting the most out of your players absolutely matters. And Nick has always done a great job of that. So why not us? Why can't you do a good job of this and us go 6-4 in our next 10? And that's absolutely treading water and wait. And that's 2 more weeks closer to the big doggy. And Spell says one thing everyone forgets: Sixers have a great coach for the playoffs. Hey, Spells. Hey, sometimes I don't like being on.
Mind melt.
Yeah, sometimes I don't like mind melting with you, but sometimes it feels so good.
Probably most of the time, but right now we'll take it.
And Joe Drummond, you're right, Joe. Drummond would have been a great addition. Like he's not great, but he's just the body. He'll block a couple shots, get some boards for you. He walks into 10 rebounds a night, minimum.
Yeah.
So I've always liked Andre. He's just serviceable. He's really just a good backup center that can start in this league.
27 times better than Mo Bamba.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We would be talking about our starting 5 being a lot better than having Paul Reed. And we would like our bench better having Paul Reed coming off of it. So again, knowing Daryl tried, I can't rip him. As much as I would like to rip him, when I find out all the phone calls he made and the one deal that he had done, I almost can't go at him. Now I got to hope there's another buyout option. Is there another buyout option for the Philadelphia 76ers that can happen at the center position just to give us some minutes over these next 5 weeks or whatever it may be, 4 weeks?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yep. Glass half full. That's all. You know what I mean? Maybe, you said maybe Toby makes a 3 in between throwing up. You know what I mean? That's all. We're not asking for a lot. We're asking for a little bit.
Mix it in.
I'm not sure how good. I see a lot of Ricky Council talk. I'm not sure how good Ricky Council the 4th is. But hey, anyone's better than Mo Bamba, so I'm willing to let him get some minutes.
Well, I would say this about Ricky Council. He's just an energy cat.
Yeah.
Right. And I like energy cats. They always have a place. Right. But I'm not going to. I mean, he's a guy that needs to obviously be developed more. So I'm not going to go around crowning him or saying anything about him. But when you have a work ethic and it looks like you get after it, I won't count you out down the road. I won't count you out down the road.
I mean, if you can give us 10 a night, we'll take that absolutely.
Yeah, there's 2 guards. Him and that other guy, Tricarian Smith, I like a little bit too. Now they're both rookies, undrafted guys, but they're
NC State Tricarian Smith. Yeah, he's good for NC State.
Yeah, but they're just what they are, right, guys? They're just young players that you just hope can get developed. Unlike in years past when we didn't develop anybody.
True.
Because if you look at our starters, right? Real quick, Wells, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the production we're getting. Like if you count Buddy Hield's 4 games here, he's averaged 22 a night, right? Tyrese Maxey's averaging 25 a night through the year. Tobias is averaging 17. Kelly's averaging 14. Cameron Payne 10. D'Anthony Melton, if he ever plays, right, 11. So you have enough production scoring wise that you hope you can compete.
Yeah, I would agree. And I've been complaining for a while that we need a knockdown shooter. And I mean, you go and get the guy that's hit the most threes in the last 5 years in the NBA. He's hit 4 threes every game with us so far. I mean, I can't complain. Like that's what I wanted. So I'm happy.
People graded it like an F. Did you see that? Like
I can't believe that. I don't know why. And like I said, I think through the first 4 games, he's been more of a playmaker than I expected. He's looked better off the bounce than I thought.
Yep, I agree. Well, I couldn't agree with you more. And people, like I said, people graded the whole deadline as like F's, D's, and I was like, wait, why? Like that seems like a lot. It seems like aggressive. Like I thought they did a good job. But what do I know?
And if it doesn't work, we only have Maxey, Hield, and Embiid under contract, so we can spend a ton of money.
Well, no, Hield won't be. Yeah, Hield won't be.
Oh, Hield's not. So it's just Maxey and Embiid.
Well, yeah.
If we don't get to the second round.
Yeah, because then it's Reed, right?
Then Paul Reed kicks in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Maxey's he's a restricted free agent, I think, right?
Yeah, he's technically not on the books, but there's his place spot holder or whatever.
He'll be here, obviously.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, no.
But no, you're right. But I think Buddy, and I think you could even. I think next year, like don't want to get in the next year, but I think next year you could have Buddy and Tobias back.
I mean, yeah,
because they're not going to be big asking prices.
Well, yeah.
I'm not sure that we want Tobias back, but we'll see what he does the rest of the year.
Oh, you don't want to
discount.
You don't want him back for $18 million a year in this league.
Oh, I'll take him on a cheap. Yeah.
You can restructure it, absolutely. To me, Buddy's the must. You alluded to earlier. We've been dreaming for it for years, and the guy's got 18 triples in 4 games. I mean, come on, and that's without the big fella. For any inside outside game. You know what I mean? Oh, go ahead. You want to you want to triple the big fella? We'll shoot it.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think is just the funny and ironic part about us finally getting him is, of course, it comes when Joel's hurt, right? Because to the conversation earlier, he's a perfect fit. We saw what this team did with Redick, right? You know what I mean, and how dynamic that offense was, and then you take it a step further in a younger Buddy Hield, right? And I think that it would be the absolute perfect combination to go together. It's just now, of course, Joel's hurt again.
yeah. It couldn't be more perfect. It's not a better. There's not a better fit than what they all do, right? That's why I like those 4. You want to talk about having like a 4 that sort of fits, right? When you really look at all their games, it's a 4 that sort of fits. That's what makes me sort of excited, right? It gives me this optimism, not only this year, but hopefully, like we talked about a couple minutes, what I was talking about recently, going into next year. Because I think you can get guys like Tobias isn't going to get max money from anybody. That's proven. So, to stay, without having to move and everything else, you might be able to get a guy for 18, 20 million a year, right? At 32 years old. Okay. And then you talk about a guy like Buddy Hield. All right. You might have to pay in the range. You're not maxing him. He's not going to get max money, but he might get 28, 30 million a year. All right. But you can afford that. That's the thing. Like and then you have young players that are here under contract still. So you can afford those 4 guys to sort of try to build your team around, which I think is a really good starting point. And that's like, hey, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah,
who are the young guys? Because
you're
there's no one under contract.
Then you're looking for a big fellow. You're looking for a power forward and some bench guys. You know what I mean? Because you feel good about if you ran it back with those 4 guys Tom's talking about. You got your point guard, you got your shooting guard, you got your center, and you got your small forward.
Well, Greg, Smith and Council would be.
Yeah, but they're not under contract.
Okay. Well, who's under contract next year?
It's literally Joel and Tyrese's spot.
Yeah, that's it. Nobody.
Okay.
Else.
Well, then you build around it, like I said.
Yeah. No, I know, but I didn't know if I missed somebody. Cause
I don't know. I thought those 2 young guys would be. That's my bad. But that's all I meant. Like Uber is a 1-year deal. Yeah, everybody's a lot of 1-year deals. But then you go build around those 4. That's the whole thing. Then you make sure like, hey, those 4 are intact. That's going to cost a couple bucks, but we have it, and there's still going to be meat on the bone to be able to go out and add around it, and you have picks.
I don't want to bring this up, but there's chatter of a guy named LeBron. No Tobias. I mean, if LeBron wants to come cheap, I'd take him. He probably would fit next to Joel, I would think, pretty well.
I'm not going to not take him. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take him.
Greg's not going
I'm not drafting his kid. He's not ready, but I'll take LeBron.
No, I think he's well documented. His kid isn't ready. I mean, people are crashing his kid, and kid had a heart attack. So,
yeah, I think the kid will probably be good in a couple years at USC.
He's a freshman. Not every freshman he's not his dad. Like, let's be fair to a kid, too. Like, the expectations are ridiculous. I want to be.
I mean, he's averaging 5 points a game as a freshman. It's not bad. It's all right.
I want to be the son of him in the basketball world.
I got my first look at him the other night. He's probably not, going to do, he's still young. So who knows how he'll develop offensively. He doesn't look like an offensive player, but he brings a ton of energy, and he's a defensive stopper. Right? Yeah. I mean, he was up in dudes' jock straps the other night, and I loved it. I loved everything about it because that's who I was. All right, got news for you. So I love that part of it. Yeah, I mean, he was woofing and he was D'ing, and I love guys that play D, and so. Not to interject anything there, so I don't know what kind of offensive player he'll be, but that was a good sign. Yeah,
he's a good distributor. He always has been. He got that from Daddy for sure.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I argued with Greg about this the other night. I'm not against it. During LeBron's peak, he was the best player in basketball. So, however you want to rank him.
Probably top 10.
Yeah, if you want to rank it.
And he's old.
guys I've seen play, he's top 3 for sure for guys that I've seen play. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to overrank him, but I'm trying to say, let's give him credit for how good he was, though. I know sometimes we want to hate the superstar. I don't want to take off the court stuff. On the court, that dude was special, and if we didn't think he was, and I don't think we were watching during periods of time where he was unstoppable.
I mean, for 10 straight years, he went to the finals. There was no chance of anyone else even going to the finals in the East for a decade.
But I get it, Greg. I hear you, right? But I don't get caught up. After the fact, I look back and I say, well, that dude was great. Like, that's just being fair. That dude was great. Any way you want to slice it. Steph
If he wants
Curry.
to come here, I'll take him.
Yeah. Now, Ted says Paul George.
I'm out. I don't want Paul George. I'd rather have LeBron than Paul George. And I know
we
Paul
already
George
have
is way
an
younger.
injured guy.
Yeah, I would take LeBron over Paul George, though.
Paul George has injury history and also another huge loser in the playoffs. Playoff numbers, awful. Loser. Kawhi wants to come. I might be on board. But another guy that's always hurt.
Yeah. I'm good with the guys that are always hurt at this point because we have that. I'm like, you know what I like, though? Like, I mean, as much as Greg's saying guys aren't, healthy, but Tobias is usually a guy who plays every game. So that's another reason why I would want Tobias back. Because this guy's going to play like 78 of 82 games. You know what I mean? And you need that. You need guys who play in this league, right? As much as we'll talk about this star, that star, everything else. I need guys who are going to play. And I know Tobias is going to play. So at $18, $20 million a year, that's well worth my investment over a 3-year deal or 4-year deal, right? You pay him an extra year because it's less money. So really, you'd want a 3-year deal to pay him until he's 35, but you pay him until he's 36 because you're obviously going to give him $18 million a year. So you throw in that bone. Buddy's a little older too, so you throw in that extra year. That's all you're doing with these guys. Hey, throw you the extra year. You don't have to move anywhere. You don't have to worry about relocating, right? You get to play with Joel. You get to play with Tyrese. Guys are gonna sign up for that. It's a chance to win, right? And you get to play with a damn good coach in Nick Nurse. So it's a chance to win. You got to remember that.
Yeah, and you can
I agree.
You can add another shooter too, like you said. Having just 2 guys under contract, you can get creative. I mean, watching the guy last night, Malik Beasley can fill it up. All right.
Yeah, he can.
He's a free agent. All right. And he probably won't cost a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cheapy.
I think he's at a 45% from 3 this year, averaging like 11 for the Bucks. Yep. I mean, he can, he's just shooting, he can flat out shoot. He can fill it up.
I love how Spells said Joel on perimeter, LeBron posted up.
Yeah, just the opposite. I know. Holy cow. Can you imagine that? I know. I mean, in that world.
He's probably not wrong.
7-2. Oh, yeah. I'm saying he is. I read that same thing. I go, oh, man. That reminded me of dodgeball. 1,000-pound thing of irony. Just killed our coach. 7'2", hanging around the perimeter. Get in the box. Oh, God.
What do you guys think about Ted?
DeMar's as old as I am, and Clay, another guy that's always hurt. But I used to love Klay Thompson, and he looked amazing the other night, like 36 in 15 minutes or whatever. But he hasn't been great this year, and he's been hurt a lot. I don't know. I might be kind of out on Klay. I used to love Klay Thompson.
Yep. I like how he handles things. He would probably be the opposite of the crumb of the week. You know what I mean? We weren't on last week, but I like how he handled it before the break, and I like, there was 2 times, I like in his interview, and he was candid with the guy. The guy was, flat out asking him, and he's like, man, how do you think it feels? Like, he wasn't being a smartass. He's like, it's tough. It's tough, man. When you were, I used to play at an elite level, and I'm not there. I'm not there. You know what I mean? So, I don't deserve to be in the game the last 4 minutes. You know what I mean? So it was good to see that honesty. I mean, in a world of a lot of me guys, a lot of selfish guys. Now he did have a brain fart the other night. He fouled when the game was tied, and that was whew.
Yeah, can't do that.
Like, yikes. And Steve Kerr was going bananas.
Yeah, we're going to Phillies in a minute here. Actually, we're actually gonna get in the Phillies now. That's a good amount of Sixers talk. As soon as Bill comes in laughing, I'm done with Sixers with him. We've already said that you guys are a daddy, Bill. So until we beat you, I don't want to talk to you.
We know Boston's the daddy. We get it.
Guys, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, follow. We really, truly appreciate it. And turn your alerts on. Always stay with us. We got shows every night here at HUD Radio. So we can't thank you enough. Cost you nothing. Just hit the like and subscribe. That's it, baby. All right, so a little Phil's talk. We get to spring training. I was listening to a little bit of the final whistle. New show, HUD Radio, Friday nights, 8 p.m. With Doug Mankiewicz and Brinkman, Brad, and you'll have Jordan Wiseman on with them too once he's back in this area because he's traveling for school. So when he's back, he'll be on with them too. But Doug even seemed to agree with my head with it. Is like Phillies are really good. Like I don't want to see the Phillies in the postseason. He said, if I'm the Dodgers, all due respect to the Dodgers, he said, I don't want to see the Phillies. He's like, there's other teams I'd probably rather see. He's like, they're really good. I think, our offseason wasn't glitz and glamour, right? It didn't need to be, right? It didn't need to be glitz and glamour. Like, you've spent a lot of money. You spent a lot of money over the years. You have the players in place. You have your starting five. Your rotation's filled out. You know who your starting five is if everybody's healthy. You're back end.
You're hoping that Painter's ready to roll,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next year, obviously, for Painter.
Well, is he going to miss this whole year too, you think?
Well, he won't be in the rotation.
No, their rotation's already set.
I know that, but I'm saying
if
he's showing off, he might be a guy that's midseason is giving us something.
Well, that would be great, right? If that's the case, right?
Sure.
If he gives you something. But I want to break this down for you guys. Okay, I want to sort of break down what we have. Your starting pitchers are going to be Wheeler, Nola, Walker, which is really good, Ranger, and Christopher Sanchez. I think that's a good starting five when you look at it, around baseball. Now, is it the Dodgers? No, but you don't have to be the glitz and the glamour either, right? You just got to be good enough. Your bullpen is a little bit of our question mark, but it isn't, right? We obviously like Alvarado when he's in the zone. Hoffman had a really good year last year. Gregory Soto really didn't have a role. Maybe more in a role, he'll be better, but he's a flamethrower. He's a guy we liked the addition of last year, so you hope he gets it right. Sir Anthony, what Sir Anthony are we going to get? Matt Strahm had a good year. Kerkering is the question mark, right? Can the kid take the next step?
Yeah, I think that's the key. Not necessarily the question mark, right? I think the way it felt like in the offseason, they're putting a lot on his plate to be the guy or to be one of the key cogs in that bullpen, and then like you said with Hoffman, right? Can he continue to take that step? Because he was in here before, not with the Phillies, but obviously he was in the league before he went away. And did he just discover something that takes him to the next step? Because he was lights out last year for a lot of big spots.
Well, listen, this is simple. Okay, just like we talk about with the Sixers. Okay, when you talk about the back end of your pen, right? Who's Alvarado going to be? And he's been really good, right? So Alvarado, but what's Sir Anthony going to be? So when you talk about the back end of your pen, what is Sir Anthony? Because he's the X factor here. We talk about Kerkering, and we can talk about Hoffman, and we talk about some of these other guys. I mean, you need him to be a dude back there. You absolutely do, right? And you're banking on it by what you have back there too. Part of it's banking on him, all right? And Gregory Soto is another one, a guy who's closed games. You're banking on them guys to be really good. That's what could be the difference maker for the Philadelphia Phillies, is guys that are already here that you didn't go spend money on having really good years. If Soto and Sir Anthony have really good years, you should come. I'll play LA tomorrow night. Where do you want to play at? And I'm not saying they're not awesome, right? But when you look,
you muted yourself.
Not on purpose.
Yeah.
Every time I tap it, but you get what I'm saying? Like, it's good. And when you talk about this lineup, right? Any way you want to slice it, like, I'm not gonna read out a projected lineup, right? But what I will do is just name it. But when you talk about Schwarber, Harper, Bohm, Realmuto, Turner, Stott, Nicky, and you got Rojas, Marsh, and then Merrifield will probably play over somebody out there at different times, probably Rojas when he don't hit enough, right? So, that's a pretty good lineup. You tell me that lineup doesn't rival close to the Dodgers lineup, I think we're sort of
it's a very good lineup, and they're going to be healthy to start the year.
Yeah, I think we're really underplaying our team if we're saying it's not really good too. I'm not telling you it's the best team in the NL. I'm not doing that. I'm just telling you it's really good. And I think people we're sort of going under the radar here too, and I like it. I like it that way. We've been on the doorstep, and now we gotta kick the door down. This is the year the Philadelphia Phillies need to kick the door down. And hopefully it's a year where you don't make splashes. You don't do the wow stuff. You don't do the stupid money. Hopefully that's the year you kick the door down. Baseball is weird and frugal like that. Doesn't always treat the ones who spend money the right way. It did with Texas in a way, right? But it doesn't always do that.
Didn't help the Padres last year, did it?
Probably won't help the Yankees either. So, when you go down the list, probably
hope doesn't.
Well, they're gonna win games. The Dodgers are gonna win games, but like those two teams haven't won shit. So before we start being scared of the Dodgers, what do they want? All right, you made some great additions. Nobody's debating that. But the other Japanese pitcher, come on. I don't care what his bullpen looks like. These are professional hitters, right? Like I don't care about what he did in Japan. You guys know how this works. You got to come over here and prove it. So until he proves it, I'm not going to go around on a crown fest. I think guys come over.
Hideki Arabu.
Yeah, I think guys come over and fail too. I think guys come over and be lights out. I think guys come over and fail. So you go prove it, and then I'll walk around with the crown for your head. We just go here. We just go over here, crown shit. Oh, look at bullpen. That curveball's nasty. Yeah, no shit. Most are. most 80, 85 that's got late movement at the last second are pretty filthy. I get it. But Taiwan Walker is a question mark for us too. And Joe said he's not a fan, but he didn't pitch in the postseason, which was strange.
That's exactly, get out of my head. That's what I was going to say. Good, nice postseason. Had a lot of wins. Had a great regular season and won a lot of games, whether you contributed to this lineup or whatever. So he had a nice little season. They wouldn't even give him the ball. They wouldn't even give him a sniff in the postseason. 3-game series, I'm fine with that. You got the two monsters, all right, and then you got Ranger. I'm okay with that. Once you go to 7. Jeez,
yeah, it was a little strange. A little strange for sure. Really, nothing else you can say there. Little strange.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
very expensive cheerleader.
Why not use them? It was like, why not?
Especially what was that game? Was it game 4? Game 5?
Yeah.
Game
where
4
like we
Ranger,
really should have used them?
Probably, yeah.
To start, or at least out of the pen for 2-3 innings.
That's where Robbie lost that series. That's in my opinion, where Robbie had that opportunity and lost that series. I didn't give him blame for losing against Houston last year, right? That was like a team loss. This was obviously a team loss too, but you had an opportunity to go to a guy who was a starter, and you decided to go to the opener and whatever the heck we did in game 4, right? Game 4 or 5. It was 4.
It was 4, yeah.
Yeah, like that was like, wait, you got a guy who won a lot of games in the regular season, it's been around the league for a long time, is a starter. Yeah, and the money factors in too.
$8 million, whatever it is.
But that was weird to me, and that's where I think he overmanaged and lost the series. Not saying they would have won, but because you don't know, baseball's weird. I don't know if Walker starts, how that game goes. Either way, we could have got blown out for all I know. But I do know that he probably give you it doesn't tax your bullpen as much if you got a guy who can go 6 with a bullpen that was taxed.
It was him and Lorenzen, right? You had to use one of them, and you didn't use either of them.
No. What up, Don?
What up, Don?
What's up, buddy?
Don, what up, buddy?
Got the Red Wings thing rolling.
Red Wings.
Here he goes. But what do you guys think? Are you confident in this team?
I like the team. I think that we're going to be right there again. It's just can we get over the hump? We've come up a little short the last 2 years. Like you said, Tom, maybe this is the year. Hopefully it is the year. I like our team a lot. I guess the guy that we just signed the other day is like a security blanket in case a couple starters get hurt. Spencer Turnbull. He started a little bit in Detroit last year. He's not great, but
he's Dave Dombrowski guy though.
Yeah, that's
all connected, right?
Yeah.
So I got no problem with extra starters. How this league goes. This league goes.
And let's call it what it is. The longer guys like Snell and Montgomery and even Bauer are out there, they're going to get signed at some point, and their pricing is going to drop. So, I not trying to overblow it, but I really do like the security blanket of that Whit Merrifield signing, right? I like that kind of super utility guy that you don't lose a lot going to like in an infield spot like a Rodolfo Castro coming off the bench to spell either Bohm or Stotty, right? Or if he's got to play left field because Rojas is struggling, you move Marshy to center, right? He doesn't kill you out there, and he's a pro. And if you looked at his stats, at the end of the year, he looked terrible. But if you looked at it, what he did up to the post or up to the All-Star break, he was out. I think he was an All-Star for the Blue Jays last year. I think he was one of their.
Yeah, they didn't use him great. They didn't use him great there.
But he had over 320 in his first half of the year.
He knows how to handle a bat.
He's a professional hitter. He's a professional hitter.
He reminds me of the old Michael Young.
He's a professional hitter. He's
right, Michael Young from the Rangers and stuff.
When you're a Swiss Army knife, you don't have to be a starter because you can spell. He can play 4 days a week and spell 4 different guys.
Right.
So all of a sudden now you got another guy that's almost a starter because he can spell 4 different guys. You know what I mean? It's amazing. So it's a monster signing. I think he's in the top 3 in hits in the last 10 years or something. Last 6 years, whatever it is now.
And I don't know if he's ultimately going to pan out this year or what, but you could tell that Johan Rojas took the disappointing end to the season he did last year and put in work this year. Right. However it turns out this year,
he definitely
drove tell that Balco. He worked out.
He drove past Balco a few times. I'll tell you that. So if nothing else, he's gonna win a flex contest. So we'll see if he can hit. And I root for the kid.
That's ultimately the key.
He can flat out go get it, but he looks like an Adonis right now. You know what I mean? So I'm not accusing him of anything. God bless him. You know what I mean?
Well, Uncle Sweep said this at his camp, and it still sticks with me because I like saying it because it's important. But not only for kids, but it's important for pros. Like games played 2 ways, though, right? So he's an important piece one way or the other. So if he doesn't swing it enough, and now you add Witt in, where you give yourself that flexibility late in games, where you got that substitution, you have that flexibility of having that guy that can go get it late in games. So either way it looks, I'm comfortable because I like Brandon Marsh a lot, so I don't care about Johan Rojas. To be honest with you, I like Marshy a ton, and now if I can keep Witt off his feet, like you guys are saying, and playing 4 days a week, maybe 5 max, and sort of keep him off his feet. Let's see how his numbers are at the end of the year, right? Because maybe there isn't that drop at his age, that sort of drop off because you're just exhausted, like physically exhausted. The body isn't the same. So maybe playing a little less ABs, sort of helps that, and maybe in the 300s and not the 5s. Right, and that's a guy you need because we talk about this lineup needs contact. I'm not telling you I need a bunch of guys who hit ground balls, but I need some guys who put balls in play in this lineup that is built to hit the long ball.
That's what I was just going to say. You're going to get caught. There's the key to this lineup. The key to this lineup is very good, and it's very long. But the key to this lineup is, can you have that cocktail of being disciplined enough and not losing that aggressiveness where they lose the baseball. You know what I mean? So, we've seen their ability to fish and look lost at the plate, like Castellanos and Turner for long stretches either of the season or in a postseason series, and they weren't I'm not saying they were the only ones, right? So we've seen this lineup's ability to chase pitches in the dirt and out of the zone. So now that is, if that was an emphasis this offseason, and that was at the top of their list offensively, and that's great, and that's always a place they should start. That comes down to approach and where are you at mentally, and are you seeing the ball, right? But it also becomes a fine line of, hey, you don't want to lose that aggressiveness, right? So are we going to take borderline pitches now because we're like, oh, is that a ball? Is that a ball? And then we start flipping balls. We just start flipping balls the other way for singles, and then you lose. This team loses their identity that way. So, you don't want to see that. Obviously, you like a happy median. All right, we all hate the strikeout. The strikeout has no production. It's running rampant in baseball, not just with the Phillies, right? So, they obviously need to cut down on it. Putting the ball in play, creates pressure, and we know what that does. You know what I mean? But this team is built to lose the ball, right? And they still have to do that, and I still think they will. I'm just saying, you also don't want to become the A's of 15 years ago, where we got great eyes, we got great eyes, and we're taking a lot of pitches, and we're so disciplined, and then they're and then they're not losing baseballs.
I think we should actually lose more than last year because obviously Harp will be healthy. He didn't really hit for power till like August last year, and Trey. I mean, Trey had the worst hitting year of his career since he was like a very very young player. So I think he has to bounce back and have a better year. Now he did hit a bunch of homers, but he didn't. His batting average was terrible, what he's used to. So I'm optimistic that we're going to be even better than we were last year.
Yeah, I hope those young guys, when you talk about Bohm and some of the struggles in the postseason he had, Stoddy as well. I just think they make you better when you want to be better. And I think those two guys are grinders and they want to be good, really good at this. So, I've always liked their makeup. So knowing their makeup, they're just going to keep getting better. And I think they're going to rise to the occasions better as time goes on in their careers. And we're in that point. And a guy like Trey, I think he's going to be way more comfortable this year. I think you'll see that average go up, that contact go up, and I think you'll get more of an MVP caliber Trey Turner than you did last year. So I think those things matter. I think we sort of forget who we added, too. Like, we lost Reese. It's not ideal, but Harper's career goes longer at first base. So that's your best player. So you want him to be as healthy as possible. I'm not saying he's always going to be healthy at first base, but you got a better chance of less contact there, per se, than you do in right field. Whatever. It's just easier on the legs, maybe.
Yeah, I think Turner steals 60 bases.
He should. He should, Sweeps. I love that one.
That was my bold prediction last year, so obviously I'm with you. Yeah, I'm hoping to your point, I'm hoping we see like the more doubles Trey, right? You know what I mean? The more drive the ball in the gap as opposed to losing the baseball. And I know it's just a photo, but Kyle Schwarber looks a little slimmer. Kyle Schwarber looks like he obviously, missed the Joel Embiid fast food diet this offseason.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what happens when you're not on the road.
Might have cut out some beers. Might have cut out brews.
Yeah, until he's on the road.
Cut out beers like the big fella.
Pre 162. It sounds good, right? Pre 162.
Hopefully he's not siphoning vodka like me.
Yeah, I would hope not. Yeah, for him.
I'm slightly sluggish after a rough weekend. Oh, but it's tasty though. I will say that.
Baseball's here. We're excited. 4 guys that are absolutely.
I am excited. I love
first full team workout tomorrow.
Love baseball season.
First full team workout tomorrow.
Yeah, and we're close. We are, as of tomorrow,
next Sunday.
39 days,
or next Saturday or Sunday is the first game.
Tomorrow we're
first spring season game is next weekend. Yeah.
Tomorrow we are 38 days away. So Kurt Schilling days away. It's posted on HUD tomorrow.
Yeah. I figured we were 38 or 39.
Well, today was Myers
because you caught hell for Carlos Santana. So I knew that was a couple days ago. All right, cool, man.
So of the 3 big ones out there, is there any one that you want to see here? And when I say big 3, I mean Snell, Montgomery, or Bauer.
Well, I mean, I'll take Snell in a heartbeat.
Bauer is clearly blackballed. No one's going to sign him.
Yeah,
so, I want him so bad.
Yeah, no one's going to sign him.
That's what she said.
I guess Montgomery would be tops of my list just because I think Snell's super overrated and you have to pay him more. And he's never thrown 6 innings in his life. I'm just not a big Snell guy.
At this point, though, are you going to have to pay him a lot? I mean, you're going to have to pay him a lot, but is it going to be?
I think it'll be more than Montgomery. I think it'll be more than Montgomery. That's what I'm saying.
I would agree there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I guess if you put a hypothetical gun to my head, I'd probably want Bauer over all of them, right? But with everything, like, again, I don't think he's going to play, right? When you're that desperate too, it sounds like you're being blackballed.
I mean, it seems like no one's going to give him a chance.
Yeah, so that's. I mean, it sucks for him.
It sucks. He's saying he's willing to play for free.
Yeah, it sucks. Somebody could ruin your career like that. Not great, right? Not great. But moving on from him, if you talk about the other 2, I know Will says anti-Snell, but I'll take Snell over Montgomery just because, whatever. I think he's better.
Well, you get back in his DMs, maybe we get an interview. I hear.
Well, I'm not worried about the interview. I'm just talking factual. I think he's better than Montgomery, right? So
I would say straight stuff. I agree. Straight stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
and he's more proven too.
Come
He's
on.
more
I mean,
proven too.
like you can be anti a guy, but I mean, I'll pay. I'd rather pay an extra $5 million a year for Blake Snell over Montgomery any day of the week. Like it ain't my money. So,
I thought Montgomery had pitched well last year. He pitched well in the postseason.
I thought he did too, but I'm going to add a third lefty or whatever.
That's true.
Not a third, but
he would take Sanchez's
yeah.
spot.
So yeah. No, you're right. So I'm not really adding a third, but you get what I'm saying. Like I'd rather have the guy.
Also lefty.
Yeah, but no. I'm saying I'd rather have the guy who's a bigger track record. That's all.
Listen, he definitely has.
I don't need ifs.
Snell has better stuff.
Yeah, I don't need ifs. Like Snell's healthy. He's usually healthy. Like I don't need ifs. Not saying Montgomery's not, but Snell's usually a healthy guy. I don't need ifs this year. I'm trying to win a goddamn World Series.
Yeah, and you might get some more mileage on there because that's the only thing I would disagree to Greg with is I don't think you're going to get a discount. I think these guys will sit put, and then somebody can sign them late. You know what I mean? Like they don't have to make April 1st, roster. You know what I mean? Like if they're not going to give in, but somebody will be like, all right, dude, we need a starter. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It might be in May. You know what I mean?
That's the insane thing, the way the free agents have worked out. I mean, and ironically, all the guys left are all, except for Bauer, I think, are all Boris cats. Like
I think it's happened a lot recently, though, has it not, Craig?
Yo, it has.
We signed Castellanos in March. We signed Harper very end of February. I think
it's crazy how it's working out these days.
It's tough, right?
Everyone's, and I guess maybe that's I guess it's good and bad, right? Because everyone's willing to give the young kids a chance. Right, so they're trying to see if they can cut it before they go sign like a JD Martinez, right, or a Cody Bellinger and stuff like that. Like, so I think it's a give and take. Like, it's good that they're trying to give the young kids a chance to make the team and bust out spring training. But at the other time, I mean, there's some good guys still available.
Oh, there is, yeah. And I am actually right with Joseph on this. Number one thing I want to see this year is Kyle Schwarber not bat leadoff. I've had enough. Get him out.
It ain't
Get
happening.
him out of the leadoff spot. We have two guys very capable of batting leadoff. I don't even care if you want to do Trey against lefties, Stott against righties. I don't care. Get Schwarber out of there. Get him out.
Do you think they do?
I hope they do. Or I'm gonna be really, really calling. I don't want to start hating the manager, but I might. Because I can't. He can't bat leadoff. He fucks everything up. And there you go. He's got me cursing. He clogs the bases. Everyone's like, he walks. And he clogs the bases. So when Trey gets on behind him, he can't run. Stop it. He hits 45 homers with 80 RBIs. Stop it. Bat him fifth.
Do you get the 45 homers down there, or the 40 homers in the 5-hole?
I think you get 40 and 100.
All right. I mean, if you think that's what you get, then I mean, I'm not.
And we run way more with Stott and Trey at the top of the lineup.
No, I agree with you.
I don't disagree, but we had the same conversation last year, and we saw what happened.
Yeah,
I know they didn't move them, and I think hopefully they realized that they screwed up.
I mean, that's what I'm hoping because of the topic conversation day one. So we got 2 minutes left in the show. We'll skip on crumbs this week, but we'll get back at it next week unless somebody you guys can really fire away. But if not, we'll get back at it next week.
I got a bit of a controversial one. I'll just keep it in the holster.
If it can holster, then holster. You know what I mean?
A holster. I don't know. I feel like I might be a slightly. I think Jason Kelce went slightly too far over the top. I'm kind of not cool with all the Chiefs stuff with Jason Kelce. I'm a little bit not cool with it.
Okay. All right. I
understand it's his brother, and I know he's doing most of it for the podcast, but like. I don't remember Travis being here in Eagles gear when we were in the Super Bowl. I
think he was.
Down a little bit. I don't need you chugging beers in Chiefs jerseys. All right.
Yeah, Travis was there, but he wasn't putting on the show that Jason did.
Yeah, I just needed. I mean, if he retired, okay, I get it, but he hasn't really retired yet. Let's calm down a little bit. Let's chill out.
Keith, it's not just about leading off one time, buddy. It's just like Will said. You're clogging the bases. You come up in different spots. I mean, like. I don't know. There's just different ways to look at it. So I wouldn't look at it like that. So, I mean, I understand your question if that's what you're asking us, but it's not. It's more than that.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more than that, actually. But
yeah, no,
it's just the whole thing.
We're under the gun here, so
it's moving guys. It's playing a little small, but there's so many factors. Stealing bases, getting a guy on second. There's other ways to get 1-0 than just a leadoff homer. There's other ways to manufacture 1-0. So if that's where the argument ends, it's not even an argument. is common baseball. So if the Phillies don't see it, they never will. But this has been agree to disagree. We love you all. We'll obviously be back next Sunday. Sixers will be playing, so we'll see how our predictions have done. For Brian Wilson, Nick Delgazzo, Greg Milakovic, I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, we love you. We thank you. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, follow, stay with us, and don't go anywhere, ever. Don't go anywhere, ever, baby. That's the end of the conversation. So, see you next week. HUD, Eagles Talk, HUD tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Join them. We out.
Peace.